In a lush, vibrant jungle, where the leaves were as big as umbrellas, lived a grand elephant named Elias. His voice was as mighty and robust as his size, echoing through the trees. And in that same jungle lived Bibi, a tiny bee with a heart full of cheer and wings that buzzed a happy tune. One sunny morning, Bibi zipped right past Elias's enormous ear. "Hello, Elias! What a beautiful day!" she chirped. Elias, startled by the tiny voice, stopped in his tracks and looked all around. "Who said that? Show yourself!" his deep voice rumbled. Bibi giggled, a sound like tiny bells. "Down here! It's me, Bibi!" Elias squinted, his large eyes focusing until he saw the little striped bee hovering near a flower. "Oh, hello, Bibi," he said, a bit surprised. "You're so small." Bibi puffed out her little chest proudly. "And you're so big. But that's what's great. Our differences mean we can be an amazing team." To prove her point, Bibi issued a challenge. "I bet I can race you to the top of the highest hill." Elias looked down at his huge feet and then at the distant peak. He shook his head doubtfully. "A race? How can I possibly race? I'm much too big and clumsy for that." But Bibi buzzed with encouragement, flying circles around his head. "Elias, your size is your greatest strength. Every single step you take covers so much ground. You are powerful." Inspired by her confidence, Elias agreed. And so, their journey began. They hadn't gone far when they came to a wide, rushing river. The water was too fast and deep. Elias hesitated, his confidence wavering again. "Now what? I can't swim across that." But Bibi, who could see things from a different perspective, flew high into the air. She surveyed the riverbank and spotted a jumble of fallen logs. "Elias, look!" she chirped, pointing with a tiny leg. "Use your strong trunk. You can move those logs and build a bridge for us." Elias looked at the logs, then at his trunk. He'd never thought of it that way. He carefully picked up one log, then another, placing them across the gap. Soon, they had a sturdy bridge, and working together, they crossed the river with ease. Elias felt a small spark of pride. As they continued their climb, the bright blue sky suddenly turned a dark, angry gray. Ominous clouds rolled in, and the wind began to howl through the trees. A storm was coming, and it looked like a big one. "We need to find shelter, and fast," buzzed Bibi urgently, her tiny wings struggling against the gusts. Elias looked around in a panic. The trees were too small, the bushes too thin. "But where? I'm too big to hide anywhere," he cried, his voice filled with fear. Just then, a flash of lightning lit up the hillside. Bibi, with her keen eyesight, spotted something hidden behind the cascading waterfall. It was a dark opening of a large cave. "There, Elias, behind the water," she yelled over the rising thunder. "Your strength can part the waterfall just enough for us to get inside." Elias looked at the powerful curtain of water, then back at his small friend. A new sense of confidence, born from their teamwork, filled him. He took a deep breath, braced himself, and pushed his powerful body right into the waterfall. The water sprayed everywhere, but he created a temporary opening, a safe passage into the cave. Bibi zipped in right behind him, and they found themselves in a dry, protected shelter just as the storm broke in full force. As the rain lashed down outside, they sat together in the calm of the cave. The storm eventually passed, and a rainbow arched across the now clean sky. Elias looked down at the tiny bee with a heart full of gratitude. "Baby," he said, his voice soft and thoughtful, "you were right. All this time, I thought my size was a burden, something that made me clumsy and awkward. But today, you've shown me that it's a gift." Baby landed on his tusk and smiled. "And I've learned that even the smallest among us can have the biggest ideas. We really do make a great team, my friend." From that day forward, Elias the elephant and Bibi the bee were the best of friends. You could often see them exploring the jungle together, the giant and the tiny, an unlikely pair who showed everyone that true strength isn't about being the biggest or the smallest. It's about unity, friendship, and celebrating the differences that make each of us special. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed the adventures of Elias and Bibi, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more wonderful tales. See you next time.